So I somehow convinced myself to watch Cabin in the Woods. And I have no freaking clue why, but I actually did watch it. If you watched any movie review by me before, you know how much I hate scary movies. It's one of the worst things ever. And all I really knew about this movie was that it was some kind of a horror movie. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of slack for actually saying that this is a horror movie. But in my mind, if a movie has a plotline like this and all that violence, it's a scary movie. If the movie is created for you to jump at high noises and be scary and have zombies involved, it's a scary movie. And there might be some funny elements, but I'm not gonna call this a comedy horror. That would be Zombieland. Straight away, almost right after the opening sequence, this felt like a typical run-of-the-mill horror story. 5 friends, all stereotypes that would typically occur in a normal horror movie, go on a trip to a cabin in the woods. Why would you ever do that? Are you stupid? People could not be more stereotyped even if they tried, and I know that that's the point of the movie, but still, you have the nerdy female hero, you have the jock, you have the token black guy, you have the stoner, and then you have the slutty blonde. And I'm not talking about me. Basically, just a bunch of people I would never go on a trip to a cabin in the woods with. Unless I really wanted to die, which I just don't. So they go on this road trip. Creepiness occurs when they meet this crazy gas station attendant. They go to a creepy cabin in the creepy woods and they read from a creepy Latin text in a creepy basement, and they release creepy zombie families. That's basically the plot of the movie. It's typical horror, shitty horror stuff that seems like it's just straight copied from Evil Dead. The thing is, there's also another element. There's this control room that they keep switching back into, from where they're placing bets on how they're gonna die, what are they gonna awaken, and it seems, in the beginning, it seems as though these people are creating some type of reality show or their own horror movie, and then you get further along and you actually understand what these people are trying to do. These people that are behind the controls in this room, they control every kill, they stage everything, and they basically make sure that everything happens the way that it's supposed to be, and it's their job. They couldn't care less. They seem like some seconds they care, and then the next second it's back on the job again. It seems really like they're creating the scary movie they really want, and with the flick of a switch, they can change the whole story. Like when the first girl dies, the jock comes back to the cabin and he says, we need to stick together and we need to barricade the doors. Flick of a switch, all of a sudden he wants to split up like they normally do in horror movies, and of course people get killed. All the way while watching the movie, I was pretty confused because the people in the control room kept talking about downstairs and the boss man or the director, and I didn't really know what they were talking about, because again, in the beginning I thought that it was all about creating some sort of a horror movie or a reality horror show, something like that, and then slowly you start to recognize, oh, the ancients, demons, something's not completely right. And the movie did keep me really interested. I wanted to know what this was about. I wanted to know why they were controlling this reality and why they were keeping these people basically locked into this world and why they were killing them. I really wanted to know the ending, basically. The actors kind of surprised me. I thought that they were surprisingly good for Scream Kings and Queens. They were consistently one of the good things about this movie, although you can only expect so much from horror movie actors. But you know, it has Chris Hemsworth, so it can't be all bad when Thor is in it. The special effects were the only thing I did not think too highly of. The movie wasn't as scary as I thought it would be, and again, I know I'm gonna get slacked off for this, but it really wasn't that scary. The special effects looked stupid sometimes. There weren't any jump scares where I genuinely got scared, because it's one of those things where you can see it coming from a mile away. But yeah, the special effects were nothing too brilliant. In the end, spoiler alert, when all the creatures get loose, it's basically just blood flowing everywhere, and it doesn't seem like realistic kills. Obviously, I know that these are weird creatures and it's not going to be a realistic kill, but still, it just looks stupid sometimes. The only kill I really liked was the unicorn kill, because that was terrifying. I always thought of unicorns as being friendly and like shitting rainbows and just being awesome creatures, but apparently they just really want to stab people with their horn. But yeah, that unicorn was kind of a bitch. At the end, I really don't want to spoil it, but in the end, one of my favorite actors ever shows up, and it just makes the ending just a tiny bit more epic, but still weird. Very weird. It's just weird that she shows up. The thing I really liked about the end, and I didn't realize this until I actually talked to other people, was the way that the stoner and the virgin, I really can't remember their names right now, that's all I really saw them as. They're smoking a joint and they're talking about this whole situation, and basically they have to die for the world to live, and they're just saying, fuck it. Fuck that shit, I'm not saving anybody's ass. Let's just all die. Basically, they're gonna fuck over the whole entire world, and that's not a scenario you normally see in scary movies. Normally you see people going, oh, save yourselves, I will sacrifice myself for humanity. And that's kind of interesting. Are they selfish, or are they just being normal? Because would we kill ourselves to save other people willingly? I don't know that a lot of people would. All in all, it's kind of a strange movie. I really enjoyed the build-up of this entire scenario of the people that are controlling the game, basically. But I was kind of disappointed when I found out what it was actually about in the end. I had imagined something a bit more epic. I guess the idea of the human sacrifices and the idea of there being something in this world that we do not know about is kind of scary, but the whole thing about ancient people and they need blood or they won't take over the world and stuff, like, really 5 people are gonna hold you over for the next year or whatever. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense, and I would rather have seen a different twist to it, because I did think the build-up was interesting and I thought that the general idea was interesting, but I was kind of disappointed. And I guess, yeah, it does make you kind of think about it. There being different things in the world that we do not know about, but what this movie basically made me think was, you know, hey, I'm never ever going on a trip to a cabin with 4 of my weirdest friends. So if you want to watch a typical but yet atypical horror movie, I would recommend you watch this. And if you don't like scary movies, it's actually not that scary. The plot and the idea are interesting, but I wanted more. That's what I thought about this movie after it ended. I sat back and all I thought was, I needed a bit more. I needed something more, something interesting. I needed a different plot twist in the end.